Today on Investigate TV Plus, seeing results beyond the scale.
I almost quit drinking completely because it just did not taste good to me anymore.
We examine how a drug popular for weight loss is showing promise as a game changer for people who struggle with addiction.
People are prescribing them, so there is an urgency to move forward as fast as possible.
Plus, how doctors say the medication can change a person's relationship with alcohol and what new research could reveal for future patients.
Then, homeowners in danger in their own backyard.
Look, see, they bear it.
We'll explain why rogue golf balls have become a concern in neighborhoods across the country and the solution some say can limit the damage.
I'm scared to go out in my yard.
And unlocking confidence in kids.
So what do you say to Charlie?
Walk on, Tori.
We go riding at an Arizona ranch to see how an unexpected animal is helping change the lives of children with disabilities.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. A blockbuster medication that's helped millions with weight loss. Researchers now believe it could have even broader health benefits. I'm Lee Zurich.
And Auntie Chappelle, the active ingredient in medications like Ozempic and Wegovy is semaglutide, and mounting evidence suggests it could help people cut back on alcohol use.
Experts are calling it an exciting discovery, and it's significant considering alcohol consumption contributes each year to an estimated 178,000 deaths in the U.S. and is a leading preventable cause of cancer.
Reporter Kristen Crowley explains how this potential breakthrough treatment could quite literally help people battling addiction turn the glass half full.
This stuff is a game changer.
After struggling for years, Betsy Spiegel says she finally found a solution to her endless cycle of weight loss whiplash.
I feel better about myself, a lot better.
Appetite-regulating medication has helped her not only lose 80 pounds, but keep it off.
It's a lot easier to make the good choices knowing that there's going to be benefit.
For Betsy, the shot wasn't just helping her shed unwanted pounds. There was also a surprising extra benefit.
When I was on that Ozempic, one glass of wine would have lasted me all night. I may not have even finished it.
Betsy says she's always been a social drinker, but a few months into taking the semaglutide-based drug, she says her desire for alcohol basically disappeared.
I almost quit drinking completely because it just did not taste good to me anymore.
Semaglutide is part of a class of drugs called GLP-1 receptor agonists, which have exploded in popularity in recent years.
There's been an enormous demand for these medications.
According to Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Leslie Heinberg, millions of Americans use them to help control hunger and blood sugar levels.
Part of how these drugs may work is how they impact the reward centers in the brain. People just don't find the same reward when they drink, say, a glass of wine than they used to.
There's now a growing body of research affirming this connection.
Semaglutide reduced both the incidence as well as the severity of alcohol use disorder.
In 2024, Dr. Nora Volkov, director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, co-authored a study exploring semaglutide's link to alcohol use disorder, a condition where people struggle to control their drinking. The result indicated patients with obesity or type 2 diabetes who took the drug saw a lower risk of relapse, in some cases by more than 50%.
Both the alcohol use disorder, drug addictions have very, very high morbidity and mortality and economic costs. And we have very limited treatments.
As a result, researchers across the country are now exploring semaglutide's potential for treating alcohol addiction. A clinical trial from early 2025 shows for adults with alcohol use disorder, semaglutide significantly reduced alcohol cravings and heavy drinking.
Could we see it combat alcoholism?
Yes, definitely. I think that is likely to be one of the most natural transitions for the treatment of alcohol use disorder.
While Volkov is excited about the promising results, she says continued research is needed, including larger clinical trials. Semaglutide has not been FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol use disorder.
I would love to see it, say, in 3 years, 4 years, but this may be overtly optimistic.
How important is it that multiple researchers are tackling this issue?
It's crucial because science, as you know, one of the things that has alerted and generated a lot of concern is the reproducibility of scientific findings. You want to be 100% certain, or as certain as you can, that it is beneficial.
A lot of our clients who are on this right now say that they are drinking significantly less.
And the demand is there, says Stephanie Klontz, Director of Operations at HydraPlus, a medical-grade wellness and aesthetic spa in Atlanta that offers semaglutide treatments.
How often would you say you have a drink now?
Maybe 3 or 4 times a week, including the weekends.
And it used to be every day.
Sure. Yeah.
Not only has she experienced the reported impact herself,
I completely overlook the red wine menu at a restaurant now.
she says some of her clients are turning to semaglutide specifically to help manage their alcohol intake. Here's one example.
She's actually down to her goal weight now, but still comes in once a week for an injection because it helps her drink less.
That's the reason she's doing it now.
Yes, she doesn't need it anymore. She's lost all the weight she needed.
Experts like Volkov caution against off-label use until safety and efficacy has been confirmed by scientific research, because she says much is still being learned about the relationship between alcohol and semaglutide, and there are many questions left to answer.
For example, what are the doses? What are the advantages between the different type of drugs available, semaglutide versus tirzepatide? How long do you treat? Do you have windows where you don't treat?
The sooner we get those answers, she adds, the better.
People are prescribing them. So there is an urgency to move forward as fast as possible so we can determine and guide people, yes, this is a valuable or non-valuable.
Having a whole toolbox of options that we can offer patients, I think is really essential in order to address the complexity of these diseases.
Betsy Spiegel says she couldn't agree more because she says alcoholism runs in her family.
It's just a tragedy what it can do to some people and lives.
And she says she's hopeful that continued research will pave the way for new solutions for families facing challenges with alcohol addiction.
Because what they are doing now works for some, but not for all. And yes, it's very important because addictions ruin lives.
Whether semaglutide can fill that role remains to be seen, but for Betsy, it's made a life-changing difference.
I am thankful for the positive influence or positive outcomes. Very thankful. I feel more like myself. I feel like this is me.
As the clinical use of GLP-1 medications like semaglutide continues to grow, across the country, additional trials are underway to explore their potential in treating alcohol use disorder and a variety of other addictive behaviors. While not directly aimed at addiction, Ozempic maker Novo Nordisk sponsored a study examining semaglutide's effect on alcohol consumption. According to the company, the main purpose of the trial is to assess effects of the trial compounds on improvements in liver health.
Still to come, bogeys aren't the only concern when living near a golf course. Residents are fed up with errant shots hitting their homes.
I've replaced my windows over $70-some thousand.
We explore your rights as a homeowner and who could be held responsible for the damage.
Then later, innovation meets compassion in the kitchen, turning food destined for the dumpster into delicious meals.
It was something that they questioned, just wanted to know how was this going to really benefit them, but they got on the bandwagon and now everybody's like, oh, do you have extra snacks?
We take an in-depth look at a potential solution to food insecurity.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. Hooks, slices, and shanks can be detrimental to your score, but even worse for the homes nearby.
There are more than 16,000 golf courses across the country, and the clubs aren't usually responsible for repairing any broken windows from errant balls. Some Georgia homeowners say over the years, the damage from living so close to a course has cost them tens of thousands of dollars.
Investigative reporter Anastasia Almos takes an in-depth look at the safety hazards and finds out who's really out of bounds.
I came out with my baby in the garage and glass was all over my car.
I was out in my driveway one afternoon, sitting in my truck, and I heard this boom sound.
One might assume these homeowners are talking about burglars.
I'm scared to go out in my yard.
But in this Marietta community, hazards fall from the sky.
You can hear them sometime coming through the trees.
Oh my God, what happened? What is that? And I look down and there's a golf ball.
Jewel Montgomery and Ronnie Pope are neighbors who've lived across the street from the Marietta Country Club golf course for almost 25 years.
Didn't have a clue of what was going to be happening after I moved in.
We didn't get that many balls at first.
But over the years,
more balls, more balls.
The balls continue, they come and they come.
See that big old dent right there?
Dented gutters, garage doors, and
all of a sudden the ball came out here, so said, boom! It hit the top of my truck.
And even worse, broken window after broken window, causing thousands of dollars in damage.
Now I've replaced my windows over $70,000.
Out-of-pocket expenses and close calls, with balls nearly hitting them while simply mowing the lawn.
All of a sudden, on the bill of my hat, a ball hit it. And I said, wow, what is that? And I looked around, I said, wow, a golf ball.
Montgomery is also worried about her 9-year-old daughter, who loves to play in the backyard.
If they hit my daughter, I'm not going to tolerate it.
These neighbors live right across the street from a par 4 hole, with 453 yards from the furthest tee box to the hole. Depending on the golfer's skill level, a 20 to 30 degree slice can send balls right to Montgomery and Pope's homes.
Look, look, look. See, they bury it.
The neighbors say the country club's insurance company paid for the very first broken windows more than a decade ago, but nothing since.
The biggie was the picture frame window and my office windows again. So I sent a certified letter, and then I got this message December the 20th, a voice message saying they're not responsible.
We reached out to the Marietta Country Club several times to ask about their protocols, but didn't receive a response. Ronnie Miles with the National Golf Course Owners Association tells us this is a growing problem across the country.
We get a lot more golfers today than we had 5 years ago before COVID, and many of these golfers have, let's just say, little wilder skills, hitting the ball rather, with a little less accuracy.
Miles says the laws vary by state.
In Georgia, for example, Georgia recognizes the assumption of risk doctrine.
In other words, anyone who moves into a home knowing a golf course is near should consider themselves forewarned.
Which owner was there first?
Miles says homeowners can reference land records called easements.
There's an easement that goes around the perimeter so many feet out from the property line of the golf course, so balls can penetrate and travel into that area.
Marietta Country Club's easement from 1989 protects their golf ball liability within 30 feet of the property. We measured, and the Popes and Montgomerys are more than 60 feet from the club's fence. Montgomery says she's called lawyers, but they tell her they'll only take a case if there are injuries. Miles says course owners should consider any possible changes to help minimize problems.
For example, could they move the tee box to minimize that problem?
These neighbors are asking the course to take into consideration those living within range of a slice in their paradise.
They need to pay now. They need to move the tee box. They need to put up a net and not have the balls coming over here in this neighborhood, because we don't live on the golf course.
If you're out playing golf and your bad shot leaves the course, you could be held responsible, especially if there was intent behind the damage. The National Golf Course Owners Association told us courses could consider repositioning the tee box or adding more trees around the perimeter. And before you move within range of a course, homeowners should check property records to see if they are in the course's landing zone.
Still ahead, building a special bond with an unlikely friend.
They're just non-judgmental. You can tell anything to a donkey.
How donkeys are helping children with disabilities discover their strengths.
But first, transforming discarded ingredients into fresh meals.
It's just a win-win. Like, no one wants to see food go to waste, and no one wants hungry families and kids.
We get insight into one solution increasing access to food before it gets tossed and delivering hope to those in need of a healthy option.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. It's free to download. Having access to healthy and affordable food is a challenge millions of Americans face every day. Yet the USDA estimates roughly 40% of food in the country is wasted each year.
Inspired to solve both of the problems, an initiative in Louisiana is working to collect food before it gets tossed and turn it into meals for people in need.
Reporter Gabriela Mercurio walks us through the process and shows us how it's already making an impact.
After working with the National School Lunch Program, Emily Chatelain realized what food challenges our community is facing.
We have two big issues here in Baton Rouge. It's food insecurity and food waste.
Now, she's teaming up with Chef Jonathan Breaux.
I've been in and out of the restaurant industry for close to 2 decades now, and this is a way for me to use those skills that I've gained over the last 20 years and really help people.
They've launched the 3 O'Clock Project to solve both these problems.
We take food that would be going to a landfill or is in excess or is about to be thrown away and convert it, and our chef makes it into healthy, fresh, nutritious food that goes directly out to those in need.
This week we're making a pork and broccoli pasta.
Breaux is cooking up 200 meals a week in this rescue kitchen for families who don't typically have access to healthy foods.
North Baton Rouge, or just Baton Rouge in general, Louisiana, can be a food desert. And so we are here to provide those people that might be in those areas with healthy, sustainable meals.
One of those areas is the Ascent Project on North Ardenwood, a place Alexis Flowers says can be challenging for low-income families to prioritize balanced meals.
A lot of the working parents, they tend to want to warm up stuff or get quick foods from Walmart, like, chicken nuggets and fries and all those easy and convenient meals, but they're not so healthy.
But that's changed since Breaux started delivering his repurposed meals to them.
It was something that they questioned, just wanted to know how was this going to really benefit them, but they got on the bandwagon, and now everybody's like, oh, do you have extra snacks? So they love it now.
It's just a win-win. Like, no one wants to see food go to waste, and no one wants hungry families and kids in your community.
The 3 O'Clock Project says their goal is to serve 2,000 meals a week.
We found examples of people fighting food waste across the country, including in Atlanta, Georgia, where uneaten bagels don't get tossed.
There's days that we sell out at 11 a.m. and there's days where we end our day with 300 of the 700 bagels we made.
Instead of going into the trash, volunteers from the nonprofit Bagel Rescue collect the leftovers and deliver them to shelters, food pantries, and the Salvation Army, who then make sure the bagels reach those in need.
Anytime you make something with your hands, you really want to know that it's going to be enjoyed by someone.
While Bagel Rescue is only in Atlanta, they work with 70 different shops and bakeries to make hundreds of weekly deliveries. To learn more about their efforts to feed people in need, head to InvestigateTV.com and search food waste.
Up next, making a difference with donkeys.
It's like an unspoken understanding that they have with the donkeys. So we see a huge difference in speech, confidence, and strength.
We'll show you how these animals help children with disabilities and their families.
When you think of service animals, dogs probably come to mind.
Experts say horses can also be therapeutic, but we found a ranch north of Phoenix, Arizona, where donkeys make all the difference.
Reporter Jason Berry shows us how they're providing comfort and inspiring confidence.
Donkeys put a smile on everybody's face.
Ryan, what do we do first? Bucket, right?
Bucket.
What brush do we start with? Yeah, that's the one. You remember the name of it? Curicone.
11-year-old Ryan Elliott has his share of challenges: autism, anxiety, core strength, to name a few.
Come down this way.
Okay. This leg in the stirrups.
But once a week, when the Phoenix 5th grader climbs aboard his best friend Charlie, Ryan feels like just another kid.
It has helped us in more ways than I can count. It's like an unspoken understanding that they have with the donkeys. So we see a huge difference in speech, confidence, and strength.
Come towards me, please.
Ryan is one of a dozen or so children with special needs, taking part in a unique equine assistance program in Cave Creek. It's called Donkeys of the Heart. The nonprofit provides kids dealing with mental or physical disabilities a chance to connect with a donkey.
So what do you say to Charlie?
Walk on, Tori.
And try to use your legs.
Founder Sophie Rayner tells us, growing up in Europe, she saw firsthand the physical, social, and emotional benefits donkeys can provide. So she decided to create a similar experience here.
I had donkeys in France, and once I discovered their amazing personality, how they behave, I mean, my heart was into helping children and adolescents.
Rayner says donkeys are able to remain incredibly calm and don't get easily spooked, like horses, which is a big plus when working with children. It didn't take long for Ryan and Charlie to connect.
They're just non-judgmental. You can tell anything to a donkey. Kids just love it. They're themselves here. They can be themselves. They don't have to be anybody else.
You're the king.
I'm the king.
That's the great thing about animals, is that they really aren't judgmental. They take you for who you are, right?
Yeah, and it seems like they're having a good time there, taking care of the donkeys and just being themselves.
Very nice, yes. That's it for Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, brazen thieves make off with thousands of dollars worth of goods in highly organized cargo thefts.
Right now, the criminal elements are very much aware of our weaknesses, and they're manipulating them to steal consumer products and fuel their operations. And so the federal government needs to respond.
We reveal why, despite these orchestrated attacks, the investigations into solving these crimes aren't often coordinated across federal and state agencies.